we are published chefs. Thanks to the Paris magazine. Paris is our hometown, and it's an honor to be considered entertaining enough to be part of this magazine. And there's a cool story about us, and share some of our vision with everybody and in our local community. So thank you for including us in this holiday edition of the Paris magazine. I also published our turkey recipe that we did earlier this summer in the sous vide. And with the holidays coming up, next week is Thanksgiving, we are going to be doing a different edition of that. We're going to be doing a whole turkey rather than just a turkey breast. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, so over here to the side, we've got a gallon of water that we've been heating up. This is just right underneath a bowl. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of salt and a cup of sugar. This is kosher salt, and then just regular white sugar. We're going to pour that right into it, and then we're going to stir it. Now this hot water is going to dissolve this, and if it doesn't dissolve it, then you need to put it back over some medium-high heat and just keep stirring that until it's all dissolved. A brine is simply to enhance the quality of the meat. It doesn't really add as much flavor as a marinade would. The reason we're doing this is so that you have something that's easily dried out, like a turkey breast or any part of poultry. And this is going to allow it to retain so much more moisture through diffusion. We're also going to add some aromatics to this and some citrus. So we have some lemon, get some orange, and I didn't have but one lemon, so we're going to also add some lime juice. I like to add a touch of honey. You really don't taste any sweetness, but it just helps impart a little bit of flavor. And this is also something you really want to add while it's warm, so that can be dissolving as well. Now we're going to add a head of garlic, some peppercorns, and like I said, I'm going to add some Cajun blackened seasoning. We've got some Lartigue's Cajun seasoning. Cut this lemon into quarters. Not really concerned about the seeds or anything, but we're just going to throw that straight in there, give it a little squeeze. Also got some orange here. Now for our aromatics, we've got some herbs here. I've got some thyme. I'm just going to throw in a couple bunches of thyme. Got some rosemary and a few bay leaves. This smells phenomenal, by the way. It's going to be important that we let all of this cool down before we add it to the turkey. You don't want to pour this hot liquid over it. All right, so we've got our brine here. I'm a little bit nervous. Like I said, I usually do a little bit smaller of a bird. About 3 pounds smaller than this is what I like to shoot for, but this is the smallest one they had. Don't know if it's going to fit perfectly in here, but we're going to see. Okay. Well, might end up having to flip the bird halfway through and going a little bit longer, because obviously this bird is a little bit bigger than I'm used to working with, and it's just not going to fit in my container as well. But we're going to make the best out of it. So I'm going to put this in here. After about 12 hours, we're going to flip it, let both sides get plenty of this salt solution. No. There's a 0% chance I don't spill some of this, by the way. All right, we'll see you back in a little bit. All right, so we've let this turkey brine for 48 hours. We decided to let it go another day because it was sticking up, so we flipped it over halfway through. And it is now time to season this thing up and get it ready to go to the smoker. Today I'm using just a pretty standard poultry rub. I like this Killer Hogs barbecue rub. But first we're gonna hit it with this Lartigue's blackened seasoning. We wanted a kind of a Cajun flavor to this, so we're just gonna put this on as a base, just real lightly. Not gonna use too much of this because we don't want it to overpower it, but Hannah likes a Cajun turkey. So that's what we're doing today. We're not gonna use as much of this as we are the other rub. Now we're gonna take our regular rub. It's gonna give it an awesome color. Make sure you get that all over it. Okay, got a lot of our rub on there. If you want to use something like a salt, pepper, garlic blend, something like that, it's a little simpler, it's fine. We use this a lot on poultry, and this is gonna be great. Maybe a little less traditional, but tastes good. All right. Now we want to stuff the cavity of this bird, so for one, it's going to release a little bit of flavor. That's going to be good, but mostly we want to add mass to it so it cooks more evenly. You can stuff this with anything. A lot of people use celery, garlic, and herbs. I'm just using what I have available. Okay. Now, we're going to take some butcher twine, and we're going to tie these legs up so it cooks evenly. All right, other side here. We don't want these just kind of flapping around on the smoker. So if you want to take these wing tips, you can take it like this and just tuck it back. Okay, just tuck those wings back, and this bird's going to sit up a lot more evenly. It's going to cook more evenly now. If you have a smoker that has a hot side to it, we're cooking on the Big Green X today, so it does a pretty good job of evenly distributing that heat. But a lot of smokers will have a hot side. Try to put this head of the bird towards that so that these legs don't get burned up and overcooked before the breast gets done. All right, we've got this thing ready to go. We're gonna let it sit for about an hour, let that rub penetrate the meat. And we're gonna go over, get the smoker ready, and we'll see you over there. All right, made it over here to the smoker. We got it going. We're gonna try to keep it around 300 degrees. It's probably gonna take about 3.5 to 4.5 hours. Probably right at 4, but we obviously going to monitor it the whole way through. It's pretty much up to temp right now, so we're going to go and throw it straight on there. Forgot my gloves, so I'm going to use this tinfoil to keep my hands from getting so dirty. Oh, put it straight on there, dead center. All right, and we're gonna shut the lid. Now again, our hot side is probably more towards the back, so I'm gonna put the bigger end, the breast end, towards the back. But we're just gonna let that cook. We're gonna try not to look at it too much. We're gonna probably check it about every 45 minutes. Probably start basting it some. I typically like to take some canola spray oil and try to spray some of that on. It really helps keep that skin moist enough to not burn up too early, and it does help it crispen up towards the end. So we'll let this go 300 degrees. We'll check it in 45 minutes. All right, so we're about an hour and a half in. Every 45 minutes or so, we're going through and taking this canola oil spray and just spraying the whole thing. It's gonna add a little bit of moisture. It's gonna keep that skin from drying out too quickly. All right, so we're having to switch to a voiceover now because it happened to get a little bit windy during the last hour and a half of our cook. This results in the microphone catching a lot of wind, and it also results in the smoker getting a little bit hot when you're not watching it very closely. It got a little bit hot, and the turkey went about 10 degrees past what it should have. You need to pull it off at 165 internally, and got up to about 175, 180. You're obviously going to monitor it the whole way through. So that's not very good. The good news is we did brine this for 48 hours. That helps save this bird. It's still really juicy and still has a ton of flavor. If we didn't brine it, this thing would be a mess. So it's a really good thing we did, and it's a good thing we went a little bit longer than we normally do. And overall, this bird turned out really good still. I was very happy with it, especially given the fact that it's a little bit overcooked. And you can slice this however you want. I like to separate each piece, so I'll cut both breasts out. When you do it this way, you can slice it against the grain, and you can slice it long ways so that there's a little bit of skin with each bite. But you slice this up however you want. This bird was a little bit overcooked, but it was still really, really good. It retained a lot of that moisture thanks to that brine. But if you're using a recipe similar to this, let us know. Tag us on Facebook or Instagram, comment, let us know how yours turned out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, send us a DM. We've got some really exciting things coming up, but we always want to hear back from you. So as always, please feel free to leave a comment on what you want to see us cook next, and thanks for watching.